Hi guys, it's great to see you. So I've been asked a number of times about the best VR settings on Assetto Corsa. So this is all subjective obviously, but these are the settings that I find best. And I've done a little bit of research and I've actually found a few things out that may help you and one thing you may not know about. So the first thing to look for is at the bottom right hand corner here, you can have different presets. So this is my VR preset that I'm going to use today just to show you around and the best settings in Assetto Corsa. So this is in the settings menu and the video menu. Now I am using the magic magnifier that I'm calling it. This is the little box so you can see a little bit more clearly what's on the screen, because I know sometimes it doesn't translate well onto YouTube. So at the top left hand corner here, we're going to be choosing, of course, your Oculus Rift. If you've not got an Oculus Rift, there is OpenVR there. I've not used it, but I know the Oculus piece works absolutely fine. Full screen and fixed resolution automatically, I think it's worth leaving those on. Shouldn't have any impact at all on your VR. And of course the resolution won't as well, because the resolution is basically fixed within the Oculus Rift. The next section though you do need to just keep a check on, and that is this limit frame rate piece here. So the Oculus Rift will only actually run at about 90 frames a second maximum, so there's no point your graphics card or your CPU chucking more than that out, and it's just wasted. So you have it around 90, you can move the slider up or down as you can see, but I would just keep it around 90, maybe 80 or 70 depending on your rig, but that is your frames per second lock, and it's very important that that is kept on there below 90 frames per second. These next two sections are based on the quality of the picture that you're going to see. Because VR is not the best quality anyway compared to 2K, 4K or even full HD, I would keep these as high as possible. The actual performance hit when we press in the little I button on Content Manager there, it's saying it's very low. I think it all depends on your rig, of course it does, and this is an approximation. So I would definitely keep these as high as possible. And if you are having full grids and you are having problems with the way that the game is running, try knocking them down a little bit. But there are other areas on here that you will get much better performance gains and you will not lose as much quality. So keep these as high as possible. Next we have world details. Again, I've not put this on the highest, but it is on high. And I think because of the quality of the graphics again that you're trying to get out of your VR rig, the performance hit is so small. I mean, it's 1.83% it's saying here on my particular rig. I think you're actually going to be fine to keep that as high as possible. Again, I've just knocked it down a notch, so this is on high, so that will work for me. The next piece is something that will actually make a big difference, and that is shadows resolution. Here you can see I've got that switched off, and also smoke generation I've got on minimum. Now when you're running VR, I don't think that shadows and smoke generation are your two biggest priorities. Your computer is effectively running the game and then it's actually displaying it twice on two separate screens. They're the screens in front of your eyes. So this kind of level of detail is just not required, and I don't think you'll miss it, to be honest, with the resolution that you've got on those screens. Of course you can bump that up and you can see all the different areas that you can go up to there, and actually when I'm running the normal 2K or 4K I will put those up to max, but it does depend on your video card. But I think to get the best performance out of your VR I would keep those off and to minimum, and of course you can adjust those as you see fit in the future. The show smoke in mirrors, again I would switch that off. I think if you've got your smoke to minimum, I don't see why you would keep that on. I know sometimes you might be on a grid and you might see, you know, smoke as you're burning away from the line, but it really will not matter. I don't think you'll notice it. So the shadows and the smoke we've turned off. And the next one is the reflections, and these are the ones that will really have a big hit on your performance. So you can adjust these all the way off. I've chosen here to keep it on 256, 256 to keep some reflections there. And of course the higher up there that you go, the higher up that scale, the more pressure it's going to put on your graphics card and your CPU. And of course then you've got lots of different ways that that reflection is going to be used on those surfaces. And again, just try and keep it down to something minimum, which is the one face. The rendering distance right at the bottom here, I've got that maxed out, but actually on my particular rig, I mean, it's saying there's almost zero performance hit. This is one of those areas that I think that you're going to be able to keep pretty high. So don't pull it down to begin with, just try your rig out, see how it runs, and then obviously you can change it if you need to, but I would keep that as high as possible. Post-processing filter is really important too. So as you can see, normally I run Sol Extra, that's my go-to post-processing filter, but I know Sol Extra's got a few bells and whistles on it that Sol, the standard Sol post-processing filter doesn't. And am I going to really miss that detail? Probably not in VR. Then on the overall quality, I've kept that high, glare quality medium, and depth of field maximum. I have turned motion blur off. Again, in VR, with the kind of quality of graphics that you're going to see in there, I don't see the need of that. Heat shimmering I've taken off as well. It's a nice effect, but you're not going to really see it in VR. Let's take it off. Sun rays always look great, and again, personal preference if you want to keep that on, but I've kept it on here. And then FXAA is similar to MSAA just for GeForce cards, so I'm not going to click that at the moment. Okay, on this mirrors piece here as well, when we talk about reflections really pulling your frame rate down, the mirrors is definitely up there. So you do want a mirror resolution, and I've put that really low. That's 128 x 512, and I've switched off high quality. And then one of the last settings that we're going to look at is this Oculus. This is pixels per display. Now I know through research that Oculus likes 1.5 on there, so that's what we're going to put it at. So that will give you your best graphic quality on there. The skybox reflection here, we're just going to keep that on 100%, and we're not going to change anything else down in this bottom right hand corner. So that actually is your main graphic settings, and again, because you can save the presets in the bottom right hand corner, you can change this to VR, and then you can have a VR one and a standard one as well. Now the next setting I'm going to show you is something that you may not know about, and this is the view and UI setting that actually locks the camera, the onboard camera, to the horizon. This is really important when we're talking about VR. Normally this is unchecked, and the reason it's unchecked is when you're playing on a 2D screen and you're sat in front of it, you have no ability to move your head up and down and the game to react to that. So actually it's fixing your vertical view on the game pretty much where it needs to be so you can play the game normally. Here we can see neck effects moving our head left and right, and the game is helping us with that, but we don't have any ability to move our head around, so therefore the game is giving us an artificial view. The much more natural way of this working is if you have a VR headset on, or if you're in the real world, what you would do is you would actually fix your eyes on the horizon, and that's the way that we drive, that's the way that we work. So that means you have much more vertical movement as well as side-by-side movement. So this is really a bit of a game changer in VR, and I would ask you all that if you have got VR and you've not tried this, do try it. It's a much more natural way for your body and your eyes and your brain to process all this information, and you will get much more sensation of actually going up those big hills or going down hills and how that feels in VR. So they are the main video settings. Now of course we have got custom shader patch, and I've not gone into that too much apart from talking about neck FX, which I would definitely put on. But what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to do a follow-up video to this one in the next few days, where I'm going to go through some of these different areas here and just talk about the VR settings that I would put into those. Of course there are lots of settings in here that have a significant impact on the way that your graphics are actually running, but I do believe the ones that we've talked about at the beginning are the main ones, so they're the ones to try first. As ever, guys, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for your time today. Do check out the rest of the channel, there's lots more sim racing on there, and if you do like what you see, I'd love to have you on board, so click on that subscribe button, and if you do like the video, give it a thumbs up. See you later, guys.